Hello and welcome back to your own Reviews channel. In this video we will be reviewing a mystery and crime movie from year 2024 named My Husband's 7 Wives. In the starting scene we see Maggie who was jogging. When she stops in galley someone kidnap her. Then movie shifts 1 month behind of that incident. We see Maggie who works at library, soon her shift ends. On the way home Maggie picks her order from a restaurant where for some reason her credit card couldn't work, so she paid the amount in cash.
When Maggie reaches home she start prepping for her special night. Soon she prepared everything and herself. Right then she receives a message from her husband Alan, who tried to tease her by saying he couldn't make home tonight. Maggie, who was very excited for her anniversary, gets really upset. Right then Alan grabs her from behind by her waist. At first she got scared, but then the couple kissed. Following morning Alan leaves for work with a goodbye kiss. Maggie went to her neighbor's with some leftovers food. Maggie's neighbor Selma tells her that she is going on her date because of her age her driving license is cancelled, so if Maggie is free, can she drop her at her date? Maggie agrees to drop her. When she was about to head back home she saw Alan's Corvette. In curiosity Maggie starts to follow that car. After a few miles of chase Maggie finds the car in a stranger's house garage. So Maggie start checking the car. Right then a woman named Pam came with a knife and Pam said, "No, it's my husband Alan's car, do you know him?" Maggie then showed her husband Alan's picture in her mobile. Right then Pam showed her husband's picture. Strangely, both of them have a same man as a husband. Then in the next scene we see Pam and Maggie inside of Pam's house, where Pam shared her side of story. Pam and Alan got married 3 years ago. It is then Maggie start crying. Pam told her, "I will get my money back from that man." At first, Maggie didn't understand what she was saying. Then when Pam explains that Maggie, should check her account statement, only that she will understand everything. After checking the account Maggie finds out that she is missing $36,000. Then Maggie and Pam went to Alan's office to meet Pete in the payroll department, where Maggie distracted Pete by looking through his bookshelf while Pam tried to check Alan's financial details from Pete's computer. When they were about to leave the office, Pete told Pam that Kristen Baker is Alan's beneficiary, so kindly ask him to change you with her. After leaving the office, Pam shared the information she saw on Pete's screen. Both of them then head to Alan's bank to check his account statement. But the manager didn't verify Pam's marriage certificate, because on that account Alan's wife's name was Heather, and he refused to share the account statement with them. Pam and Maggie went outside of the bank and decided to find more information. When Maggie came home she went straight into Alan's office and start the search. Just then, Pam called to inform her that Alan may be heading to Maggie's house. Then she checked through the window to confirm. Sadly Pam was right and Alan was back home. So Maggie start cleaning her mess. When Alan enters his office, he sees Maggie doing yoga. She told him she couldn't hear Alan's voice because of earpods. Following day Maggie shared everything with Pam, so she suggested that they should visit Alan's mother, maybe she could tell them something. When both wives reached the old house to meet Alan's mother Lois, at first Lois was very happy to see Pam, and then she asked her if she is here to pay her bills, because Alan doesn't answer her phone calls. Pam then asked Lois about Christine's location, and Lois remembers her and her address. Before leaving Pam gave Lois her favorite dish, tater tot casserole, which she really loved. In the next scene we see Pam and Maggie went straight to Christine's house. Pam and Maggie shared that they are Alan's wife, but it seems like Christine didn't care. However, when Maggie and Pam share the reason why they came all the way to meet her, Christine agrees to help. All three of them decide that they will meet at Maggie's workplace and share all the info they have, and from there on, they will devise a plan. That night when Maggie came back home and was about to sleep, she heard a break-in noise, so she went to check. Luckily, the person who came in left the place. Maggie then locks the doors and went back to bed. Outside of her house, we see someone leaving the place in his vehicle. Following evening, all three meet at Maggie's place, where they share all the details they have. Pam decided that she will follow Alan, and Maggie shared that Alan didn't like when she enters his office, so she will search his office. While following Alan, Pam sees him meeting a woman with a kiss, and then taking her somewhere in his car. Maggie continues her search in Alan's office. That night when all they meet at Maggie's place, Pam shared the latest update. Maggie got so upset that she left the place by saying she needs some fresh air. This is when we see Maggie got kidnapped by two men, who told her that Alan owes $30,000 from their employer for investment, but he didn't invest the money in anything. Then Maggie told them he took money from her as well, so they got confused and gave her their business card and left. In the next meetup, Maggie shares everything with other wives. On the other side, we see Max gaining Alan's trust by telling about Maggie, Pam, and those money lander guys. Max also offers his services for 15% commission to transfer the amount with untraceable method. Alan accepts his offer and agrees to provide him the details. When Maggie returns home after work, she meets a lady on her door named Adrian, who happens to be another wife of Alan. Maggie takes her to their next meetup. Adrian told them about Heather, who died due to eating something she was severely allergic, and also about the property where Alan parks his RV. Christine decides to visit the place. When she visits the place, she finds a bag with some money in it. Pam and Maggie went to see Heather's sister Katie, who told her about Heather's death. Next day, when Maggie returned home, she finds Alan cooking food for her. While she noticed Alan put something in her drink, she got scared and left the place by saying she is going out with her colleagues. Then Maggie explained everything with Pam what Alan did, so then Pam advised Maggie to stay at her home because it's not safe to stay alone, and takes her along. Outside of Maggie's place, we see someone following them. Later at Pam's house, Alan sneaks into her house to kill Maggie. Luckily, Ethan, Pam's son, noticed Maggie and called Pam. That's when Alan hid and later escaped the house. Alan went straight to Max and gave him all the details of his account. Later that day, we see Christine and Max join the meetup, where we found out it was all Maggie's plan. That's how they can get Alan's financial details, but the money in Alan's account was quite short. Max tells them Alan uses his dead wife's account to save and control money. Pam mentions about the money landers and the $30,000 loan amount. Maggie then suggests a way out. Following day, Maggie meets with the guy and gave him an offer, which he agrees. Meanwhile, Alan visits Max for progress update. Max told him the money has been transferred and the meetup of his wives. He also gave him the location. Alan went there to kidnap Pam and Maggie. Surprisingly, Christine, Max, and Adrian also arrives there. When Alan finds himself cornered, he ran out from that building. Little did he know the cops were waiting him outside, so they arrested him. Christine and Max start hiding the money after arriving home. At that moment, they heard a noise from outside of their home, so they went out to check. Later we find out that it was a distraction created by Alan, because when they both went outside there, the money was stolen, and Maggie told Christine through call that Alan got released by bail. They all gather at their usual place. Christine shares what happened. Pam got mad at them, but in the end they all go back home. When Maggie arrives at her home, she saw Alan's Corvette parked outside of her home. So she texts the money lenders. Inside we see Alan in his office. When he noticed Maggie, he tries to fool her by showing affection. Right then the money lender boys grabbed him. Before they take Alan away, Maggie snatched the Corvette's key. Next day, Pam and Selma came at Maggie's home, where Maggie got angry at Alan and started hitting his picture at the wall. Little did she knew behind that picture Alan have created a secret vault where he stores his money, which was now found by them. With that money, they clear every stolen account of Alan's wife, and Maggie sold the Corvette, and she gave the check to Max saying that this is for his college education. After this huge success, they cheered and the movie ends. Hope you like the review. For that, thanks for watching this video. Please like, share, and subscribe the channel.